Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host Tone Vase, coming to you live from the woods of Pennsylvania. I got Bitcoin Motorist right here. You guys know him from the troll box. Probably banned a bunch of you permanently.
Sup, savages?
Thanks for coming out here, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you you having me come up here for a day. So
also thanks for the cigars and oh yeah, we got a refill here.
Refill? Yep.
Yeah, you're drinking neat. I like it on ice.
Yep. Whenever I drink single malt Scotch, I always drink it neat, just because you can't taste it if you have ice in it. The ice kind of numbs the taste. So I always drink it neat. Now if I'm drinking
do you have any napkins?
Sorry.
Let's just that.
Oh no, don't worry about it. I got it at Walmart. It's all good. But yeah, I usually drink it neat so you can actually taste it if it's a good Scotch.
All right, hold on, guys. I gotta situate here a little bit. How do I get rid of? 1 second. Why isn't this scrolling? There we go. Let me get rid of this. Perfect. We got 200 live. Any shrimp on the barbecue? Yeah. So so my barbecue that I have. So this is the first barbecue I bought. You see it behind me a little bit there. It has a smoker, but it's like like a toy smoker. Like it's small, it's not that expensive. And it was my first run at a barbecue with a smoker. And it was good. I figured out how to use the thing. Because I did that 2-day options webinar, 7 hours yesterday, 7 hours today. So I was exhausted. And for the second half of the webinar, so around noon, like 1 o'clock, around lunchtime, I took like a 20-minute break because, we don't do lunch. And during that 20 minutes, we set up the smoker, and then we put a couple of, I don't know which cuts they were because the crew that was here hanging out with me on Wednesday, Crypto Finally, Cody, Joe Saz. Thank you guys for coming, by the way. So Cody brought a couple of steaks, like 3 steaks or about like that. I don't know what cut they were. It looked like New York strip probably. And we smoked those. We didn't finish them. I had a couple of ribeyes that we cooked on Wednesday, so we smoked the. Oh, can we see the full
smoking?
We're gonna play this thing.
Yeah, smoking steak is not an art that I've learned. I usually cook on my cast iron pan, but I would love to learn how to smoke meat properly and just to get it done perfectly right.
Yeah, so still a skill I'm trying to learn myself. But this was a good run, and the next barbecue I get is gonna have like a real smoker. So now it's time to relax and have a cigar. Thank you for the cigar. Thank you for the Scotch. I still have some brandy right there, and then there's other liquor, but I'm not a big fan of vodka. So.
Really? That surprises me, Tone. You don't like vodka?
No, I'm a tequila guy. There's no tequila in this.
Oh, that's right. You like tequila. I know. I remember. Yeah, I think the first time I met you, you had like a glass of tequila shot in your hand.
How do I make the live? Like, I want this print to be bigger. I think I've done it before, but I don't know how to do it now. Oh, it's still set to top chat. I really need it to be live chat. I wish I can increase the font. I can increase like the font on the second monitor, but like
Oh yeah, it's set to top chat, I believe. Or no, I think it depends on each person. I have it on live chat on mine.
Yeah. But all right, I'm gonna take a look at the price real quick, and then.
Well, I thought we swore we weren't gonna look at the price until like later. No.
No, I'm gonna take a look at the price. I'm gonna take a look at the price every now and then. I'll try to keep an eye on your live chat, but the print is so small and my second monitor is like too far away from me. Like I'm not sure how to fix the situation.
And I know Tone plays chess and I play chess.
Not very well.
Me neither. We both suck at chess, so you guys can make fun of us. But I figure we could probably like just play like a casual game while we're shooting the shit and talking. So
like because if I put the other monitor in front of me, then I won't be able to see the first monitor. I think that's the best I can do. I think it's the closest I can get it to me, and then I can still see both monitors.
Sure.
Okay. So this has disaster written all over it.
Probably, but you know, we're drinking and playing chess. I mean, that's a disaster already.
Yeah, we're drinking, playing chess, smoking cigars. I'm live streaming, and I'm also going to do price chart analysis. So,
and we're both exhausted.
Yeah.
We both had a long day.
And it took you 5 hours to drive over
Yep.
here.
I woke up. I woke up this morning. Actually, I didn't wake up this morning because I stayed up all night. But I left my house at 3:30 in the morning to make it here by like 8:30. I think I was here by 8:45. So it was like a long 5-hour drive.
Yeah, and I've been up to like past 2 in the morning every night preparing for the options webinar, which finally concluded. So that's 2 hours, 7 hours each of teaching, and this is what we're doing now. So this is what? This is the daily chart. Well, you know it's the queen, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
Just checking.
I know which move I made. I figured you wouldn't like that move. That's why I made.
No, I hate that move.
Yeah.
I'm gonna think about that one.
Yeah, think about it. It's all good. It's casual game. Good. We're both going to make plenty of blunders, so please don't make fun of us if we do. And we're drinking. That my mistake is if I make a mistake.
They can't really see much right now because I'm in the lower corner because I'm screen sharing. So here's the daily chart. Look, guys, the daily chart looks very bad. It looks really, really bad because you're now consolidating a lot closer to the low, which is 9,000, than to the high, which is 12,000. So consolidating closer to the low is dangerous. This is how descending triangles form. In fact, you are dangerously close to creating a descending triangle, and a very, very steep one at that. So it's not great. It's not a great descending triangle, but it gets a little nasty here. I don't like this at all. I really, really don't. It has now, Bitcoin has been supported by the 9,900 area. I think that's 9,900. Yeah. Like between 99 and 10,000, it's been supporting for a while. And the bottom can really drop out. Now, you want this to happen later than sooner, because if it does happen, you want it to break both of these resistances at the same time. So I don't like this shape at all. I'll leave this triangle for tomorrow, just so I can kind of sort of remember what I drew today. It's been a long day. And if this thing comes to fruition, and people make fun of me for being bearish, well, this is why I'm bearish, because patterns like this keep happening. That's 20%. So guess what's going to happen? Potentially, that's 20%. It's a $2,000 move. Takes you down to the low 8,000s. Now, by the time it gets there, hopefully, you can be supported by the 200-day moving average. I didn't kill this thing yet, did I?
No, it's still good.
All right, it's good. I keep talking too much, not smoking. So if anyone says I've been bearish since 3K, that's actually not true at all. I was bullish at 4K in late December. And I was bullish all throughout because I had a long trade on. So I was long Bitcoin from late November, mid-November, when it was 4,000. And I was bullish up until 5,000 to 6,000. And then I was bearish again. So I couldn't have possibly been bearish because I was profiting from a long trade from this area. Now, I still expected Bitcoin to go lower, but at the time, I clearly stated that Bitcoin was oversold, or I wouldn't have taken the long trade. Now, half of you that are complaining now that I was bearish at 3,000, the same people were making fun of me for being long in this area. So everybody's a hypocrite. I know what I said. Go watch every video I've ever done. I feel like banning some people permanently. You guys will lose your chatting privileges. Well, yeah, of course I was underwater on my long trade. I went long at 4,000. but I didn't feel like I needed to exit that trade because I expected Bitcoin to make that trade profitable. I got in that trade over here. I took profit on that trade over there, right at the high. Wait, why isn't this working? What's wrong with my things today?
Well, maybe the other monitor is on the keyboard or something.
It's not. No. Heck. Oh, what did I do? That was weird. Yeah, half that trade was underwater. I went long here. I don't know why it's not working anymore. Like the circle that I had before. That's weird. I went long in this area. If you guys can see the mouse. Can you guys see the mouse? No, they can't see the mouse. I don't want to share my whole desktop. I guess I could.
No one's going to be doxxed from that.
Let me stop screen share. That's weird. I don't know why I lost the... That's really strange. I had that circle that I've always used. I don't know why it's not working. Anyway, I don't have time to figure it out. So basically, now you should be able to see the mouse. Oh, wait, I'm not playing the video. No wonder. I don't know what's going on.
You weren't
It was
live.
like static. Yeah, now you can see the mouse. So I was bullish. I went long here. Maybe I went long here. I don't remember. I went long somewhere here. And I took profit on that trade within like a week, but on half the trade. And then I got on an airplane. And next thing I know, Bitcoin dropped hard. So I ended up in a losing position, but I felt that it was worth the wait. And I had to wait a long time for that trade to be profitable at 5K. And that's when I took my profit at 5.1K. I went short at 5.4. There. I don't know why my circle's not working. I went short at 5.4. The trade was working for a little while, but then it failed. So I got out of that trade with a profit, even though it was a failed trade. And then I haven't traded again because I got even busier. And but I didn't think it would go this high. But I didn't take out any trades, long or short. But I kept waiting for a 30 to 40% correction. I finally got one right here. And this shape is making it look like we're going lower. Maybe we'll go higher. I have no idea. Nobody does, right? But what would I do? I would short. If I had time to trade, I would be shorting this triangle. Maybe not today, maybe next week, maybe the week after, but I don't like this shape. And if we fall below 9,000, I think the floodgates are going to open, and it's going to fall hard and fast. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm bullish Bitcoin long term, but this is not the kind of shape I want to see. On a weekly scale, we're neutral. Oh, the chart's going to flip. The candle's going to flip. So here's the weekly scale. I got to watch Socrates streams. Maybe I'll watch those on the drive back. So we're on a green one. So we still have to wait a couple of weeks, right? So next week will be a red one. And then the week after, if you have a red 2 weekly going below a red 1 weekly, that's very bearish. For me anyway. So ideally, I want everything lined up. I want a red 1 next week. And then early on the week after, I want a red 2 going below a red 1, breaking this Fibonacci line. That sets up a short trade right here out of this triangle. Also, if this happens in like 7 to 8 days from now, this moving average is going to be a lot higher to the setup trend line. So we can break both of these support levels at the same time, creating an opportunity for a short and then a buy the dip opportunity. Because if we fall down to low 8s or into the 7s, that's great. That's a great potential buy the dip. We'll see what the charts say. I was never comfortable with these tops at all. See, we're still stuck in this range. It's the same range. The break of the setup trend line makes me very, very bearish. This is the 12-hour chart. The 4-hour chart is useless. 15-minute, which Joe Saz likes to trade. I'm not going to look at it much. Look, I'm already struggling with the chess game. I haven't gone yet.
I screwed him up by playing the queen pawns opening.
You know, I'll make the move once I get off screen share.
No, it's fine. Take your time.
I just want to look at Bitcoin dominance. Damn, it's taking a while to load these charts. I got to restart my computer. That's total market cap. That's Bitcoin dominance coming up. And my scotch is getting watered down. I need to drink that too. Still on a 9 here. Bitcoin dominance is looking good. It's above 70. So Bitcoin dominance hasn't moved, so all the shit coins will probably be where they are. Oh, gold probably started trading. So did the S&P. It's nighttime. The futures are open. Thank you, Royal Duke. Appreciate the donation. Huh. There's someone in the comments named Peter Toddlehead.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that person. He's a bit of a troll, but for the most part, he's been behaving himself.
As bad as the real Peter Todd?
Yeah, Peter Toddlehead has been there for a while, but he knows that if he acts up too much, he'll get banned. So for the most part, he's been behaving himself.
All right. Oh boy. Oh, that's not good. The S&P, that's not good. Unless this thing rallies above that line, unless Trump, says the opposite of what he's been saying on Friday, this is not a good sign for the S&P 500. I would be looking bearish here. Gold's probably rising, and it is. Yep, makes sense. I mean, I've been bullish gold to 1600. The whole move did catch me by surprise, but hey, the rules are the rules, right? Go long above the 38% Fibonacci. Go long again after the 9 with a green 2 above a green 1 above the 9. 2 bullish entries, no matter what my opinion is of the fundamentals of gold, technical said buy. I'm waiting for that weekly 9 around the 62% Fibonacci for a sell indication. Oh, my OPSEC's terrible. All right. Enough screen share. Let's talk some Bitcoin maximalism. Or the lack thereof in the space these days.
Yeah, exactly. There is one thing that I've heard somebody else. I wish I could remember who it was that said this, but I heard somebody say this, and I think there might be something to it. Like, you know how like when the price started going up from 3,000, I remember watching your streams, and you were very skeptical. You weren't sure if there was a real bull market going, because what you were saying was that like this doesn't make any sense. Like, why is the price going up? And even
it made sense up until about 6.4K. Like,
right.
I was exiting at 5.1, 5.2. At the time, I called for a bull trap at 5.1, 5.2. People were making fun of me for being bullish. But then I thought that beyond 6.4, it makes no sense at all, because new people aren't coming in the space.
That's what I'm saying. Because and you've even confirmed that even now, the metrics aren't showing that, Google Trends, as far as I know, there aren't new people coming in and just talking.
My YouTube subs are going down.
Yeah,
I mean, there could be other reasons for that, I will admit, but like my YouTube subs are going down.
Yeah, I'm not really getting people texting me that I haven't talked to in years,
Right.
asking me, hey, Patrick, should I get into Bitcoin like I was, in 2017 when the price was going up? So
no, I tell you what though,
yeah,
they are texting me because they're interested and they want to learn how to set up a wallet, but they're not interested in buying, but they're interested in understanding, which is a good sign. Because they will buy it if it drops, because now they're ready for the dip.
Gotcha.
Now, because everyone is ready for the dip, it may not dip. But new people are just not coming into the space. I'm sorry, the masses are not coming. Not yet.
Right.
They will,
so
but not yet.
So the theory that I heard, which makes sense, is that this rise in price was insiders in Silicon Valley who kind of had, Facebook employees, there's complete conjecture here, but Facebook employees who kind of knew that Facebook was about to come out with Libra, and these people have money, and they're not going to necessarily go on Google and search how to buy Bitcoin because they kind of already know this stuff.
That's true.
So that may have been what caused this price rise from 3,000 up to I think we went all the way up to 14,000 if I'm not mistaken. So I think that's a plausible theory. I mean, nobody knows for sure exactly why the price went up, but
and before the comments start, no, I'm not a hippie. These are thigh pants, and they're perfect for where I am.
All right, so I confused you with my first move, and you confused me with your first move.
Exactly, that's what you get for a shitty first move.
All right, I guess.
I'm gonna log.
I guess I should. I'm gonna try something different. I don't think I've played this way before. Oh, I'll try it out. Yeah, but by all means, we should definitely talk about Bitcoin maximalism.
Talk some,
or as Ugly Old Goat likes to say, Bitcoin standard bearers, which I do like. Ugly Old Goat's.
Yeah, I like it as well.
Yeah. Now I've actually come up with a word. It's not going to catch on, but I use it. I use the word Bitcoinist, and if you say Bitcoinist, to me it's like Bitcoin and maximalist put together, like it's one word. A Bitcoiner is someone who's into Bitcoin, but a Bitcoinist is someone who's exclusively into Bitcoin, not into crypto, but just into Bitcoin. So
yeah, but Bitcoinist is the name of that publication.
I know that's true, but so what? I know it is, and that's a good name for a publication. That's true.
It's a decent publication, though. They are way more Bitcoin maximalist. They weren't before, but oh wait, I'm not even wearing my mic.
Hopefully, you guys could hear Tone.
Yeah, Tone speaks loud. The whole freaking forest hears Tone. All right,
by the way, this is Whitney.
Hey guys, try to like, man. You know what? I'm gonna do this. If I'm not gonna do screen share, I can at least like look at your questions. I get my second monitor closer.
So let me ask you a question about.
Yeah, we're gonna throw in some questions for us. It'll be great.
Yeah,
because I got questions for you as well.
Yeah,
you know what? Why don't you tell our people your background first? Or ask the question before we forget.
Okay. Well,
I may not answer right now.
No, it's just a general question about. When this whole thing happened with Reggie Middleton, I went back and I listened to the.
Oh, you re-listened to my interview with him?
Yeah. And in fact, I never listened to it the first time, so this is the first time I actually heard it. But I went back and I listened to it. Yeah.
I saw it coming.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And what I thought about was that one of the comments in the YouTube video was about Tone loses another friend, so it's like, what do you think about, like, do you lose friends in this space because of your Bitcoin maximalism or Bitcoin standard bearer?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Not even that, like more than half the people I was kind of looked up to learn Bitcoin from when I joined the space back in like 2014 and stuff, like they all became shitcoiners.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Roger, Voorhees, like a bunch of them, right?
Oh yeah, I went to an event.
We saved Charlie. That one was close.
Charlie was close.
Charlie Shrem.
Charlie Shrem, not Charlie Lee. Charlie Shrem.
Yeah, Charlie Shrem. Charlie Lee was always there.
Yeah.
Charlie Shrem. We saved him. When you start calling him two-time Charlie, he started to listen. That was hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey Charlie, I know you watch it.
Yeah, but so let me ask you this then. So obviously, you and I, we have this conviction where we don't mind, if we offend people. I guess maybe the fact that we're Bitcoiners in the first place means that we kind of go against the grain. We're kind of contrarians by nature. So the fact that even within the Bitcoin space, people get pissed off at us for being so-called toxic maximalists, we can't go back. We're not gonna just try to appease people by saying, oh, maybe that's this shitcoin or that shitcoin is okay. So has that ever bothered you about losing friends, or do you feel like you're just doing the right thing and you just have to speak the truth no matter what?
I'm like too busy to hang out with people these days anyway, so it doesn't bother me about losing friends. But here's where it becomes bad, right? Because some of these people are more influential than me and they have a lot more money than me, and others consider them more important,
right?
Even though they're totally wrong in their views. So the problem that I face is my whole platform is about educating people about Bitcoin the right way. And in order for me to do that, I need to get bigger and bigger stage. And what can happen is that some of the events that I should speak at, like, I don't want to name the events, right?
Sure.
But there are events that I want to speak at because it has a big audience and I want to educate them the right way about Bitcoin. And if some of these people that don't like me, that have a higher profile than me, tell the conference organizers, I don't want that guy speaking here. I won't get invited and then I ask to speak and then I won't be,
Right.
So that's the issue, right? So like some people just play nice.
Mm-hmm.
And when you play nice, it's easier to get along with these people. But it's going to be interesting, right? Because, we're going to get to this part too. Like someone said, hey, Tone, nice Blockstream hoodie. Yes, but now some Blockstream employees are involved in creating ERC20 tokens.
Right.
And that's an issue for me.
Well,
a small issue for me. And we're going to talk about whether that's an issue for you.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I criticized them a little bit on my YouTube channel the other day, and I basically criticized a little bit, and I criticized people that I like because I respect them. I like Jameson Lopp. I respect Jameson Lopp. I like Samson.
Mm-hmm.
I like his trolling, and he was a Bitcoin maximalist.
Mm-hmm.
Whale Panda is funny on his tweets. I like Whale Panda, but he was always on the border to me, right? Because he trades a lot of altcoins, and I'm not surprised that Whale Panda is involved in the ERC20. Sure. I'm definitely not surprised that Charlie, that's expected. Like Charlie's been involved in way scammier things at this point.
Spagnini. Spagnini or Ricardo.
Well, Ricardo is on a different level, right? Like Ricardo, not surprised at all. He's involved in ERC20. I'm a little bit. I think because I don't even know what his thoughts were on Ethereum. I don't know if he hated it or liked it. But like Charlie Lee's been Charlie Lee was involved with Token Pay, and that's as scammy as it gets, right? So that's it. There's nothing Charlie can do that's like scammier than helping Token Pay use their funds from the ICO to buy 10% of a bank and give it to Litecoin. That's very scammy, very, very scammy. So Charlie Lee being involved in ERC20, I don't care. Not surprised, irrelevant. Fluffy Pony, it doesn't matter. Whale Panda, saw it coming. A Samson, I didn't see coming. Right. I didn't see that one coming. And Jameson Lopp, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, neither did I. Especially for Samson, I didn't see it coming. But here's the thing, it didn't really bother me. All those names, Whale Panda, who I respect, Samson Mal, who I respect, even Jameson Lopp to some extent, who I also have some respect for. It didn't really bother me because here's the thing about Bitcoin. The reason why we're in Bitcoin is because we want to have a monetary system that's not controlled by people. So if there's people who are doing things which we consider unethical or kind of shady, it doesn't really matter. Bitcoin doesn't care. Honey Badger doesn't care. So it's never really bothered me. It doesn't matter who it is. If Adam Beck comes out tomorrow and says and launches a shitcoin, it wouldn't bother me in the least, because
that would bother me quite a bit because I do have a conference that I organize with that event.
Well, yeah, because of your personal association with it.
But I see your point. You have a very good point. Like, we should not care about people.
Right.
We shouldn't. But when those people are directly involved in helping maintain the Bitcoin code, you do want to pay attention to where their loyalties and morality stands. Because one of the reasons why people are always on my case well, Bitcoin is not about trust, but you trust the developers of Bitcoin. You trust Bitcoin core developers. And I'm like, well, yes, in the same way that I trust nuclear science engineers, right? I trust them to build a nuclear reactor that's not going to explode. But then we have, the Chernobyl show based on Chernobyl, and then we have Fukushima. And so shit happens. Bad things happen, even when the smartest people build things. But the probability of bad things happening is a lot higher when, when silly people build things. And in this case, like, Blockstream is very involved in the Bitcoin code development. So I do care about what these people are thinking when it comes to Bitcoin, crypto, finance, privacy. I care about their views on society and the world.
But here's the thing, being important in the Bitcoin space, like what you were talking about earlier, it's not really a feature. It's a bug to be quote unquote important in the Bitcoin space.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to go here.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
It's going to be the slowest game in history.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, look, I often tweet anytime I see something like when I saw your tweet or when somebody was saying something bad about Andreas, I always say the same thing. I do hashtag leaderless, hashtag no heroes. Don't have any heroes in the Bitcoin space, because at some point they're going to do something stupid. And if you don't have any heroes, then it's not going to bother you when someone that you respect and look up to does something stupid. I mean, maybe it's just because I've been involved in the space, and maybe we can get into how I got into Bitcoin since 2013. And I went.
When did you get into Bitcoin?
Honestly, about the same time you did, really. Although you knew about it long before I did.
Yeah, I knew about it
right.
since early 2011, if not late 2010. I don't really remember when I found out about it, but I didn't buy my first Satoshi until like April of 2013.
Well,
so knowing about it doesn't.
Yeah. So you owned your first Bitcoin around the same time that I owned. I owned my first Bitcoin. I believe it was either May 2nd or May 3rd of 2013.
Satoshi. I've never officially owned an entire Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, neither have I. Yeah, so
if I turn the camera around and you see the car that I'm driving, you would totally understand.
Dude, you drive a Subaru. That's awesome. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Okay, so I'll tell the story of how I got into Bitcoin in two parts, because I'll tell how I got in, and then I'll tell it in a flashback format. So I was I discovered, I saw a YouTube video about Bitcoin. I don't remember exactly when, but it was sometime before, either during or just before March of 2013. So that was the first time that I'd ever thought that I'd ever heard of Bitcoin, and the first time that I'd ever, knew anything about it. And I thought it was kind of cool, but there was one objection. I liked the fact that it was scarce, that it was a limited supply. But one of the things that the YouTube video said, which I kind of agreed with, which is honestly Peter Schiff's his main objections to Bitcoin is you can't do anything with a Bitcoin. I'm like, with a gold bar, you can turn it into a gold watch or something, but you can't do anything with a Bitcoin. So I was like, yeah, it's kind of a cool idea. But then I didn't really do anything with it. But then something happened. This was March 21st of 2013. And my life changed forever on this date. And if you know me personally, you know what happened on that date. I was in a motorcycle crash. Okay, I was coming home from work. You drove
a motorcycle?
Yeah, I used to ride a motorcycle. Yeah, I haven't since the crash, but that's another story. But I got into a motorcycle crash. I was working overnight, and I was coming home from work. I was living in the LA area. I was coming home from work in the morning in LA rush hour traffic, and I got into a motorcycle crash. When I got into that crash, a couple of things happened which made me get into Bitcoin. One of them was that I was out of work for 5 months because this was a really bad crash and I had a lot of injuries. So it took me a long time to recover. And a lot of times when you talk to people about Bitcoin, they just don't have time. They don't have time to sit down and read everything and research everything. I had that luxury, if you can call it a luxury, because I was out of work for several months. And when I was in the hospital recovering from my crash, I asked my family members to bring me my iPad. And when I got that iPad, I tried to go back and find that exact same YouTube video that I had watched earlier, where I discovered Bitcoin for like the first time. And I couldn't find that video, but I found lots of other videos. So I started reading up on Bitcoin.
Searching for that video, you found others.
Yeah, I found others. I couldn't find that exact same video. And then another thing was, and I'm almost
Did you
embarrassed.
run into James D'Angelo at the time? He was making good videos.
I did see James D'Angelo, but it wasn't his video that I saw. His wasn't the first. But James D'Angelo made great videos. I used to love his videos, especially
his S-curve video is still one of my favorites.
Yeah, the S-curve video, and also I liked a lot of his videos about the math because I was really interested in the cryptography.
He went all crazy.
Yeah, I mean he did too. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Again, no heroes, right? So I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but I have to say it. I really think that crash gave me a concussion. And seriously, and I was a different person after that crash than I was before. I'll give you an example. You were into Ron Paul in 2012, right?
I was. That's how I found out about Bitcoin.
Yeah, and you were
actually, it wasn't 2012. It was early. It was 2011 because he was going through the primaries and stuff.
See, back in 20.
And that's how I found out about Bitcoin because I had to watch Ron Paul on RT, and that's how I discovered Max Kaiser and Capital Account. And those shows told me about Bitcoin back in early 2011.
Right. So here's the thing. I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh. So I was just a hardcore moron, Republican conservative throughout most of my life. Even in 2012, I was a Romney guy back then. I kind of liked Ron Paul, but I wasn't a big Ron Paul fan. But here's the thing: when I got into that crash, I swear, in the hospital, I was thinking to myself that I wasn't a Republican anymore. And I think it may have been because of that crash. Like, it knocked out all this Republicanism nonsense in my mind, and it led me down the path to libertarianism and anarchism. And also at the same time, I had this extra time on my hands where I could go and research Bitcoin. So I went to the Bitcoin conference. It was the first big Bitcoin conference that happened in 2013 in San Jose. A lot of people were there.
Yeah, that was a popular one. See,
yeah.
When was that in 2013?
That was in May of 2013. So that was like a couple months after my crash.
Okay, so that was around the time I bought my first Satoshi.
Right.
And I didn't know anything about conferences. The first conference I attended was in April of 2014 in New York, inside Bitcoin's New York.
Okay, yeah, because you were in New York and I was in California. But yeah, so here's the thing. Before I went to that conference, I thought Bitcoin was a cool thing, and I thought maybe this can become the next big thing, and I was kind of like interested in it. But after I went to that conference and I heard all those speeches, especially by Eric Voorhees, who gave a great speech at that conference. You could still find Eric Voorhees' speech on online.
He was amazing. Yeah. Like everything that Voorhees said.
Yeah.
Back then, from 2013, because I was watching stuff in 2013, because once you get your first Satoshi, you can't get enough of news about Bitcoin, right?
Yep, exactly.
So everything that Eric Voorhees did or said between 2013 up until leading up to the fork wars was great, even though I never liked.
In fact, Eric Voorhees had a debate with Peter Schiff. I believe it was
a few of them.
Yeah, but the first debate with Peter Schiff he had was back in 2014.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I remember. I may be remembering wrong. Sorry, Whitney. I may be remembering wrong, but I seem to remember.
Dude, Peter's gonna freaking show up here.
So yeah, no, she's fine, dude. She hops up and down all the time. She just shook it off. But I remember Eric Voorhees saying to Peter Schiff, maybe I'm misremembering it, but like something about how because Peter Schiff always brings up the altcoins, and I remember Eric Voorhees, or it could have been Roger Ver or somebody like that, saying like, none of the other coins are interesting to me. And I'm like, yes, it's like, Bitcoin Maximum, none of them are interesting. It's like we're all into Bitcoin, that's what we care about. We're not into all these other coins. And now here's the interesting thing. Anytime you get into Bitcoin, whether you got into Bitcoin in 2011, whether you got into Bitcoin in 2013, whether you got into Bitcoin in 2016, doesn't matter when. Whenever you get into Bitcoin, you always think the same thing. You're too late. So when I got in 2013, I thought I was too late. People who got in 2011 thought they were too late. It's like, I should have got in when it was worth pennies. Now it's worth like, $10. It's way too expensive. So I remember thinking to myself, this is impossible. How is it possible that I never heard about Bitcoin until 2013? Because I remember, did you ever play online poker, like at Full Tilt or PokerStars or any of those places?
Long ago.
Yeah.
Like I played online poker like pre-Bitcoin.
Yeah, of course, pre-Bitcoin. Yeah, because
then it left the U.S.
Because you remember Black Friday, which was when all the U.S. poker sites got shut down by the government. That was I want to say it was in 2011.
I remember that day.
Yeah.
I even said, because I was already trading back then, I even said, wow, this might be a good time to invest in casinos long term, because everyone's addicted to poker and everyone's going to be going to Vegas. And I didn't make that long term investment And then like 3 years later, I looked at the casino stocks and I'm like, oh my God, I'm an idiot.
Yeah. So you had the right intuition there. But so what I told myself is, it is impossible that I didn't hear about Bitcoin until 2013. I started racking my brain because I remember specifically when US online poker got shut down, I was like, what am I going to do to make money online anymore? Like, because I was a regular player on Full Tilt and PokerStars back then. So I remember specifically, I went to work and I asked my coworkers, what can I do to make money online now that I can't, play poker? And I was thinking back then, I don't know what, because I'd never played World of Warcraft, but I thought, oh, maybe I can play World of Warcraft. I heard you can make money. You can mine gold on World of Warcraft and sell it for real money. And I remember going around asking people about it, like, hey, do you play World of Warcraft? Can you make money doing that? And then I remembered a conversation I had. And I remember some guy at work, I don't know exactly who it was, but I remember a coworker at work back in 2011, he told me, he was like, hey, there are these people that online that are using their computers to create this currency. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, they're taking electricity and their computer's processing power and they're making currency with it. And I'm like, well, is it worth anything? And he was like, no, it's not really worth anything. But I was like, well, then why are they doing? Why are they spending real money to make this fake currency? And why are they spending real electricity to make this? He's like, well, they think it's going to be worth something in the future. And I was like, oh, that sounds stupid. Now, the funny thing is, I remembered this conversation maybe 6 or 7 months after I got into Bitcoin. And I was like, oh my God, I did know about it. I just didn't know it was called Bitcoin back then.
I remember people people before that. I remember like people were like putting their computer power to use to search for like aliens or something.
Yes, SETI,
like,
absolutely.
SETI, yeah. So Bitcoin totally killed SETI. So anyone that wanted to waste their computer power, like, can now waste it for Bitcoin. Well, like those SETI people, they were the ones that were mining Bitcoin early. So thank you, SETI, for bringing us Bitcoin mining.
You can't really monetize SETI though. That's the thing. You're using your computing power to solve some issue, but you're not making money off of it. So absolutely.
Right. I moved.
Oh yeah, you moved. I'm sorry. Oh yeah.
Because
I'll
you're
move.
in trouble. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's true. I'm in trouble now. Let's see here.
All right, so I got a couple of questions. So Tone, how much lower do you say Bitcoin will go before it hits 15 or 16K? See, this is a bad question. This is how things get misinterpreted. How much lower do you say Bitcoin will go? It's irrelevant what I say. You can say, how much lower do you think Bitcoin can go, right? And right at the moment, as you saw from that triangle, I think Bitcoin can go to the low 8,000s. And after that, we reevaluate. I think right now, there is a higher than 50% chance that we go down below 9,000 and down into the 8s and probably low 8s. I think right now it has a higher probability than going up to 15. Now, can Bitcoin go up to 15 tomorrow? Of course it can, but it has a lower chance of doing so than going down to the low 8s. Okay, I have another question. Oh, I'm going here. Yeah, so when you got into Bitcoin, like you said, you felt like it was too late.
Yeah,
I got into Bitcoin.
And Bitcoin was worth $100 back then.
Yeah. And when I got into Bitcoin, it was like, damn. When I got into Bitcoin, it was more like, shit, because I got in right near the top of that Cypress bubble when Bitcoin was like 250.
Yep. I was still recovering in the hospital when all that was happening.
And then the next thing, and then like a week later, the Satoshi that I bought lost 75% of its value. But I knew why I bought it, and I never panicked, sold, and
I think your story is very interesting because I've heard your story many times about how the unconfiscatability is what really got you interested. And well, first it was the uncensorability of the WikiLeaks.
Well, that's how I found out about it, but it wasn't interesting enough to me to buy it.
Right.
Because there was nothing on Silk Road that I needed to buy.
Right.
And as much as I wanted to support WikiLeaks, that wasn't really my fight. I was too busy working finance. But the unconfiscatability nature, especially getting into the whole libertarian stuff and watching Cyprus money confiscation, and that resonated.
Right. Yeah, that's very interesting. And now I heard you say something recently, which I thought was pretty interesting, which is that you were very much about the uncensorability and you were very much about the unconfiscatability, but you didn't really understand the economics, or maybe I shouldn't say that because you are pretty good at economics, but the economic kind of Austrian economic case for it, you didn't completely get until you read Seyfedin Ammous's book.
Well, not the economic case. So Seyfedin's book helped me understand the need for hard money. It also helped me understand why silver is useless, and so is Litecoin. Even though I knew Litecoin was useless, but I couldn't explain why. Seyfedin's book helped me explain to people why.
Right. There's something you kind of understand as an abstraction, but you can't really put it into words. Yeah, I get that. Absolutely. Now, I think that both you and I, at some point, we may have been okay with shitcoins and altcoins.
Oh, yeah. The first panel I ever spoke on was Bitcoins versus altcoins. And I was, I wasn't a maximalist on that panel. I was actually making a case for why altcoins are good to have. There's no video of this. If there is, that would be awesome. Oh, geez.
Yeah, just make yourself at home.
Yeah. I didn't expect her to just get comfortable on my lap here.
Yeah,
let's look at some other questions.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, hold on. So tell me this. I have a question for you, because I can give you my answer as well on this. But what was it that made you understand that the altcoins were all scams, or most of them were scams? 99% of them were scams. What was it? What changed? Can you tell me a little bit about your thought process of how you got to Bitcoin maximalism?
I don't know. It wasn't like a single thing, right? So I would say I sold my I never bought Ethereum, like the ICO stuff, right?
Right.
So anything involving an ICO, starting with Ethereum, as a financial guy, as someone who understands the IPOs, and someone that understands like investing, and someone that understands
so you always knew the ICOs were scams because of your background in securities.
Well, right, because they were breaking straight up security laws that were there for a reason for 100 years.
And as a libertarian, I didn't understand that point at first, but as I thought about it more, now it makes sense. Because if you own a security, it has to be centralized. You can't have a decentralized security, because you have to know who does the dividend go to and who has voting privileges. So there has to be some form of centralization. Is that kind of what your take on it is?
There has to be some form of regulation.
Okay. Yeah.
That regulation could be like, maybe one day there'll be a smarter Satoshi who can find a way to mathematically decentralize this stuff. But right now it doesn't exist. And Bitcoin can't provide that, right? So therefore, any ICO is totally centralized, and it avoids the regulation. Now you can say, as a libertarian, well, that's great, right? But there is a reason why. Till this day, U.S. has the most strict financial regulations and the biggest financial market.
Yeah, because I talked to, as I was discovering libertarianism back in 2013 after my motorcycle crash, so I was on board with these people who were saying that regulations are just they're just a way of the players in an industry to keep out competitors. So I was completely against regulation, but it's possible that even though some of that's going on in securities, there's a legitimate reason for some of these regulations. Yep. So I get that, and I'll tell you, like,
left, so it's fine.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I don't even drink, honestly. This is like, I don't even smoke either. So
yeah, no, me neither.
Yeah.
I don't drink at all. This is a total exception.
All right. So you remember what you were saying about SETI?
Yeah.
And there's that there was some other thing that people were like using their computers for besides Bitcoin mining and SETI, where they kind of pooled their computing power together. Do you know what the other thing was to solve an issue, to solve a problem?
Like protein folding stuff?
Yeah, that's the one. So there was SETI and there was protein folding. But
then someone created that shitcoin.
Primecoin.
Primecoin.
Yeah.
And you fold protein stuff.
No. Primecoin was you find prime numbers. That was
Primecoin. There was another one that was doing the protein folding stuff. I forgot.
Well, I remember.
Peercoin? I don't remember.
It could be. I don't remember.
I can tell you when I sold the rest of my shitcoin bags.
Uh-huh.
And you guys are gonna laugh at me at this. So back in the day, before it was Dash, it was Darkcoin.
Yep, Darkcoin.
And I didn't
Darkcoin.
know about the shady history of the beginning of Darkcoin, which was Xcoin. I didn't know that little tidbit. I do now because I made a whole scam coin episode about it. But
crypto scam.
So basically, I had some Dash and I sold it all when it went to $10. And then it went to 1,600.
Well, I remember you said something about Dash. But back then, I was actually a Dash fan because I liked the fact that they were.
So was I.
I liked the fact that they were coming up with a way to pay their developers. Now I know that that's a scam, but but back then I was like,
this is before that. This is before the masternodes.
Right, before the masternodes thing. I remember specifically hearing you say that if you're proof of stake, you're a scam. Dash is proof of stake, so they're a scam. Right. And I didn't get that. I didn't understand why is it if it's proof of stake, it's automatically a scam. I didn't understand. I understand now. Yeah. But at that time when you said that, I didn't get it. But
so I think around that time, I became. This is like before the word Bitcoin maximalist existed.
Right.
But that's pretty much it. And Dash pumped like twice. So did Ethereum, right? But then
right.
But I don't remember. There wasn't a single thing. It was just an understanding that wait a minute, like, and this is before Saifedean's book also.
Right.
It was like they just didn't make sense, and like who the hell's developing these things? Like I was paying attention. Who's developing Bitcoin code, and then I was paying attention. Who are these people that are creating these shit coins? And you look into who they are, and you're like, these are like. They're nobodies. They're idiots. Like they have no like. They have.
Well, do you think
no credibility at all?
Do you think that there are some like smart developers working on some of these altcoins? Not like a few, like maybe 1% of these guys out there are actually brilliant developers, and they're just working on some stupid project.
There might be decent developers, but they're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And the coin will fail. You have to program Bitcoin.
Doesn't matter how smart the developer is.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah,
it's irrelevant because they're always going to be for hire somewhere else. And if you think they're smart, there are some developers at Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan that will crush any of these guys. They just have no interest because of the philosophy of what Bitcoin stands for. It doesn't interest them, and they are. Too close to the hat there.
Don't worry about it.
And they just don't have an interest in what Bitcoin stands for. So they have no interest in developing for Bitcoin, but they're just as smart, if not smarter. You just don't know who they are. Oh, you went there?
Yeah, I moved the bishop. So
you guys can see but I'm getting like people are like helping me cheat here. I'm not really
they're telling you what to move. Come on, guys, don't help Tone.
Attack the rook on A1. Force knight to F3.
Yeah, the rook on A1 is looking a little sketchy.
Yeah, no, I'm not really looking at that. Wait, there was one more question I wanted to read. Tone, at this point, what is the probability your 1300 target will get hit? That probability is extremely low. Extremely low. We're not actually now really dark here, so I don't.
Yeah,
I have a light.
We're gonna lose light.
I have a little light.
Okay, cool.
Hold on.
Make sure they can see the board.
I can also put a lot more wood on the fire. I'm not really sure where I'm going to put this light, but I have a light.
You want me to hold it till you figure it out?
No. I'm going to put it right here on this bottle without dropping your dog on the floor for like the third time. Boom. We have light.
All right, cool. So
move my laptop to the side so we can get more light.
Here's the thing. You know Brian Sovereign, right?
Yeah. How's he doing?
I haven't talked to him in a while. I haven't really talked to him. I haven't really even been listening to his podcast lately. So, but I'm sure he's doing fine. I used to really like listening to Brian Sovereign's podcast because it was about libertarianism and anarchy, but it was also about tech. And at the time, I was working at a Verizon store, so I wanted to know as much as I could about tech, just to kind of be able to be knowledgeable and to help out my customers, because he talked about smartphones, and he talked about tablets and computers and stuff like that. Now, here's an interesting thing that Brian Sovereign taught me about technology and about software that I didn't know otherwise. And this also relates to Bitcoin maximalism. Brian Sovereign said something that me, as a non-computer scientist, didn't know, which is that complexity is the enemy of security. And there is something in tech
of course,
called software minimalism. Have you ever heard of software minimalism?
I've heard the term.
Yeah.
It
So
makes sense.
so software minimalism means that the less software and the less moving parts you have in your device, the less likely the fewer security holes it has. So so to me, the interesting thing is Bitcoin maximalism. Not only does it make sense economically, it also makes sense on a software minimalism point of view. I mean, I've heard a story about Trezor. You can buy a Trezor and you can get half a dozen different shit coins on your Trezor. And to me, it's like, oh, well, if you don't want those shit coins, who cares? Who cares if they have,
But it stretches the developer team of Trezor to
and also
make a mistake.
It increases the attack vector on someone being able to hack your device.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And also it increases ways where somebody may actually mistakenly send to the wrong address. So it actually increases ways that you can get pwned or owned, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, Bitcoin maximalism is just a version of software minimalism. It just makes sense for security wise. You don't want to be like Michael Turpin and try to figure out how to secure 14 different shitcoins and end up getting hacked. If the only thing you have is Bitcoin, the only thing you have to worry about securing is Bitcoin, it just makes sense from a software security standpoint, even putting aside all the economic arguments for Bitcoin maximalism.
Let me see if there's any other questions. Where'd you move?
I haven't moved yet. I was just,
okay.
I just kind of,
moved.
Yeah, got you.
Man, I was playing chess with Tyler, right? I was at Tyler's house, Tyler Jenks. Oh wait, I missed some.
I just took your
questions.
Your pawn.
Oh, you took my pawn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember because when you said that you and Tyler had played chess, I was like, I got to play chess with Tone or Tyler. Unfortunately, never got a chance. I did get a chance to play poker with Tyler, actually.
We were at the same table?
Yeah, we were at this. I was at the same table with Tyler Jenks, and he's a pretty decent poker player, or he was a pretty decent poker player, just like he was a decent chess player based on the fact that he beat you.
That was a good game, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that good. Jimmy's pretty good, too. What am I taking that with? Let's see what's better.
I really like this cigar. I got to remember the brand. What is this? Master Blend. That's what it is.
We got to put some more logs on that guy. Will give us more light.
All right.
Oh wait, I had another tip question. Let me see what that is. Here we go. Thank you, Brian. I know 10 people buying Bitcoin now for different reasons. A lot of 20-year-olds are buying. That makes sense. I believe 20-year-olds are buying. You know what the problem with 20-year-olds is buying Bitcoin, Patrick?
They don't have that much money.
Exactly. 20-year-olds buying Bitcoin is not going to make a difference.
It's just like we're going to bank, Somalia or something,
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like people in a country you never heard of buying Bitcoin. Like, okay, how is that going to move the price? See, when I was buying Bitcoin in 2014, I was making over $100,000 a year.
Right, because you were working on Wall Street. You were working JP
That doesn't mean I bought a lot, but it means I had the money to buy it if I wanted to. And why wouldn't any fund manager put at least 1% of their portfolio with the risk reward so high? Well, because they may not want to be embarrassed by sending out their statements to people and lose a high net worth client that thinks this is a scam, right? So if you're a fund manager, right, and one of your clients has invested $100 million with you, and then you notify him that you bought some Bitcoin, and he pulls his $100 million because he thinks you're now an idiot. That's why some fund managers may not want to publicly admit to their investors they've bought Bitcoin.
So part of this rise may be a lot of these big time guys, Wall Street guys, tech guys, getting into Bitcoin with surreptitiously.
Whitney, I know you're asleep, but I
gotta
put.
I
gotta put like
off
wood on the fire.
Off, Whitney.
Wow, she really doesn't want to get off my lap here. All right, I'll be right back. I got more wood. Did you move?
Yeah, I moved my queen up here.
Oh, okay. All right. This is not going to give us a lot of light, but we'll give us some light.
Let me see what I'm going to try to look at the chat to see what they're saying about the game, if anybody's saying anything about the game.
Oh, no, I didn't see anybody saying anything about the game.
See if they're helping you. Oh, Michael is in the chat saying he likes chess. How surprising, a Russian that likes chess. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys have any questions about Bitcoin maximalism? Do you think we're completely wrong, or do you guys think that we're onto something? Or what do you think about the security argument, the software minimalism argument? If you don't have to secure 15 different coins, if you don't have to secure 15 different coins, you're much more likely to have a secure to prevent yourself from getting hacked. What do you guys think about that? Altcoin Daily's in the chat. He's a good guy, even though we don't like his name, but for the most part, Altcoin Daily is a good guy.
Yeah, sometimes you create a username and then you start to regret it, and then it's hard to rebrand.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Oh man, we're still drinking straight scotch, but now that bottle's done. Now we got to finish the brandy.
Sounds good to me.
All right, did you move the queen, right?
I moved the queen, yeah.
All right. Let's see what we're working with here. I don't have a great move. It's unfortunate. Let's see what you got. It's hard for people to see the game now. It's like,
yeah, maybe we should call out our moves. So
no, they're not.
I guess I should.
Someone says they missed me on WCN. Yeah, I wish I still had time for it. I gotta text Thomas Hunt.
It's pretty cool when you occasionally get on the Bitcoin group. That's a funny show, because I used to watch you ever watch that old show, the McLaughlin group?
Not really. I was never a huge fan.
It's funny because the first time I ever watched the Bitcoin group, I was like, Thomas Hunt was
kind of based on.
He was saying bye bye, and he was saying wrong. Yeah, so he was like emulating John McLaughlin.
Yeah.
Even when John McLaughlin passed away, he even did a little tribute on the World Crypto Network. I thought it was kind of funny.
Guys, I'm trying to keep up with your chat, but there's too much going on, so I'm probably gonna miss a lot of your questions. Is the dog asleep? Yeah, I think the dog is like.
No, the she's over there.
Roaming around.
She's fine. All right, I just castled.
Ooh.
Someone just texted me saying, "How do I get the wrench off my name?"
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, leave it. Don't take it off.
No, you're stuck with it.
Yeah, you're stuck with it. Whoever you are, you've been promoted to a mod. With great power comes great responsibility.
They DM'd you or they put it in the chat?
No, they texted me directly on my phone.
So you're stuck with it. You've been doxxed. So, ooh, I have a good move, I think.
Well, we'll see.
We're about to find out. I mean, it's not great, but
My excuse is I'm drinking scotch. Okay, so if I lose,
yeah, same. Move the camera closer to the game. Yeah, the white they can see my side, but it's hard for them to see your side. People are so wrenches these days. Somebody put that in the chat. Oh man! All right, I'm gonna do some screen share again.
Yeah, go for it.
While you're thinking, let me look at the price of Bitcoin. I have no idea what's going on there. I don't understand why my. Oh, now it's working again. I don't know why it wasn't working before. I got it back. There it is. Boom. Got my circle back. All right, so this is gold. Gold's still rising. I'm really curious about how the stock market's going to open. And we're still down.
Just move the night.
So if you're going to move your night there, let's see if we can do some damage here. Hey, Bitcoin popped a little bit, 10,175. We're still in this triangle though, right? Like, and the best part of this triangle is that in order to break above the triangle, we have to break above the moving average. And that makes it very, very good. So if you can break above this triangle, you can almost become bullish at 10.7. But this is a very dangerous game we're playing. Bitcoin still has some support. There's a support cluster right here at 9,600. But if we go below that, then it's in trouble. So people are asking about the recession, right? People are worried about the economic recession. I don't see one because Trump has to get reelected. So he has to do anything he can to stay reelected.
All right, move the queen back. Always retreat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you've been retreating. What can I do here?
Let me ask you a question.
Really not much.
About how Bitcoin was started. Like people talk about this like it was just too perfect. It was like an immaculate conception. Like how is it possible that all the parameters that Satoshi picked, they just all happened to be right? You know, with
I don't think they were right.
Yeah. So tell me, what do you think could have been better?
I think the halvings should have been avoided.
Or it should have been gradual. Or,
it should have been more gradual. It didn't have to be like perfectly gradual. But it should have been more gradual. I don't like the economic shock of the halving. Now, it does give Bitcoin extra attention, but from an economic perspective, it's not good.
But
if you're running a business and you know for a fact you're about to make half the money, it's a problem.
But the counter argument to that would be like, let's say the block reward gradually decreased over time.
Like say it decreased every 2 weeks with difficulty.
Right. But here's the thing: if it's pretty much the same for almost 4 years, doesn't that make the short-term planning even easier for a miner, for a business? I don't know. I guess
a real business should plan for the long term, not a short term. Again, going back to Saifedean's book,
right?
Short-term thinking versus long-term thinking, right?
Right. High time preference versus low time preference.
Exactly.
Yep. That wasn't good.
Oh God!
Missed.
Disaster. Oh, my mic's not on. My bad. Good point. Put the mic back on.
Sorry, I should have reminded you.
Yeah, my bad. My bad. All right. You moved, right?
I did. I retreated my queen.
Oh, so it's still my move.
Yeah, I moved my queen back here, right? I don't think you moved.
Oh, so it's still my move, right?
Yep, it's your move.
I didn't have a good one. I have like nowhere to go. Nowhere useful to go, I should say.
So you can keep thinking. I'll just talk about some stuff. So one of the things that you said,
that air, so
one of the things that you said earlier was that if certain people become shitcoiners, it would worry you because they're responsible for maintaining the code of Bitcoin. My counter to that would be that if they're that important to Bitcoin, that's already a problem, whether they become shitcoiners or not.
It's still disappointing, though. Bitcoin will be fine. Like, I'm not worried about Bitcoin. We just need one more soft fork, and that's it. And then probably Bitcoin will survive with no alterations.
Mm-hmm.
All we need is Schnorr.
Schnorr signatures, yeah.
Schnorr and like maybe Taproot or whatever the hell they're gonna. The next soft fork. The next soft fork will be huge, and that's it. And after that, maybe you have to worry about quantum computers. Maybe you don't. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the quantum computers issue.
I'm not too worried.
The fact that most people make a new Bitcoin address each time for each transaction means that it's already basically quantum hard. The only people who will be vulnerable to a quantum computer attack would be those who reuse the same Bitcoin addresses, which you shouldn't be doing anyway. So I'm not too worried about the quantum computer. If that becomes an issue, they could always solve that with a fork, which I don't think it will be an issue. It's just one of those FUD things that people say, oh, quantum computing is you can only do 3 transactions a second, all this nonsense that people say about Bitcoin, which doesn't make any sense. It's embarrassing, actually. Did you happen to see the debate George Selgin had with Saifedean?
I have not had a chance.
I do recommend you watch that debate. It was really good, and Saifedean didn't hold back, and he got all his points across. And at the end of it, anybody with half a brain could kind of see Saifedean's
I need to watch that.
Yeah, definitely watch that debate, because the no coiners and the multi coiners are kind of merging. They're becoming almost the same. They're making the same arguments, which isn't all that surprising. Eventually, it's not surprising. Yeah,
because multi coiners are inflationists, right?
Exactly.
They're no different than the no coiner.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of an interesting thing. So we were starting to see that, because George Selgin is supposedly making the no coiner argument, but he sounded like almost like a Bcasher. Almost with a lot of the arguments he was making.
Speaking of Bcash, man, what a disaster that project turned out to be.
Yeah, it's a failed project, and I honestly, a part of me doesn't even want to talk about Bcash anymore, just because we're just giving it more attention, and it's just a failed project, and it should just be allowed to just kind of they can yell and scream all they want, but just it's just gonna die out, and it doesn't really matter what quote unquote some important person tweets. It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Oh, whoa! Bitcoin's pumping. Look at this.
Is it
300? Look at that. Still within the triangle, though. You have to wait for the triangle to break to be bearish. Until then, you don't do anything. 15-minute chart hit a 9, didn't reverse at all. Still pumping. Nice. Broke the prior high. Still doesn't mean much from a daily perspective. but it looks good on a 15-minute. Let's see if we can break this triangle right now. Has to close there, though. Has to close above it, otherwise it doesn't count. And the candle just started, right? So we have 24 hours to go. Has to close above it, and then I will delete this triangle. And then it doesn't matter. Because this triangle right now means nothing. There's no activation of a trade until after you break the bottom of the triangle, near its apex. Nice pump. 10,460 now. Ah, you went there one move earlier than I wanted you to go there. What is that?
It's just a bug.
Oh, that's a big bug, dude.
It's fine. It's fine. It won't drink much.
Oh, do I want to give up my knight for a bishop?
Come on.
They're worth the same amount of points, but in reality, one is clearly better.
Now, you were saying something earlier about how you get frozen out of certain events because...
Well, no. I don't know if I do. I'm just saying that that's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I met you was at an Acapulco, and I thought an Acapulco was a great event, but I don't even know if I want to go back to it in Acapulco.
Oh yeah,
now.
I'm never going back to that nonsense.
I mean, it's fun. It's a fun party. It's fun to go.
Party,
fun
like,
to go hang out in Mexico for in February when it's cold in New Hampshire.
And a lot of people went last year expecting me to be there, even though I tweeted out and specifically stated I am not going to an Acapulco. And then Jeff replies, "Well, you weren't invited." I'm like,
yeah,
well, dude, I have more followers than you and your entire company.
Yeah.
And if people are expecting me to be there, I have to let them know that I'm not, because I've been there at every one for the first 3 years.
Exactly. You were saying you weren't going to be there, and people were like, he wasn't invited. And it's like, no, he was actually planning on having a workshop there, and he's just letting people know, hey, I'm not going to be in Mexico. So he's expecting to go there to go to my workshop. I mean, you can't, basically, you didn't cancel an Acapulco, you cancanceled your workop, because you were thinking about doing a workshop in Mexico.
I was informing my followers, since I have more followers than Berwick does at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how he still has followers, but and half the shit is like fake followers too, and I know that for a fact. And I'm like, anyway, so I'm not interested. It's just
but you
man.
still go to plenty of events, so I don't think that's even an issue for you. You're still kind of in demand. People want. I know we want you to come to PorkFest, even though
this is great. I love PorkFest.
Yeah, you would think that.
When do you think all those like scam coin guys are going to disappear? So Roger's not like the Bcash guys weren't sponsoring anymore.
Sure.
Dash wasn't really sponsoring that.
So here's the thing. Okay. So I'm glad you brought this up, because I really wanted to say this. Okay, so you know how Bitcoin dominance started pumping? Like lately, it's been going up. I'm going to credit your panel at PorkFest as the reason why Bitcoin dominance started pumping, because there's a lot of shitcoiners at PorkFest, and a lot of people.
I didn't hold back. That wasn't even a debate panel.
Yeah,
and I did not hold back.
No, it wasn't a debate panel, but I think it went well. I think it went well, and I'm gonna credit that panel. So the reason why Bitcoin dominance is
we're speaking too loud because we're
sorry,
I've been drinking forever.
I don't mean to yell.
We're gonna keep the stream going till the chess game ends.
Yeah, absolutely. So the reason why Bitcoin dominance started pumping is because of Tone's because Naomi Brockwell and Tone Vays and Jeffrey Tucker and
there's a lot of shitcoiners at PorkFest.
Yeah, and but the funny thing is that the first time I talked to, before I was even an organizer at PorkFest, when I talked to the organizers of PorkFest, like, hey, do you guys want Tone to come? I was surprised, but they were like, dude, Tone has a huge following. We would love for Tone to come. They didn't care that you were a Bitcoin maximalist. They just wanted you to come speak at PorkFest. Your people want you to come because you have an interesting take, and it doesn't matter if you're controversial or not. And I don't think you are controversial, but people think you're controversial. All right, you moved, right?
Yep. Yeah, my mic's back.
Okay, mine moved.
Yeah, I moved. I retreated this time.
Yep, gotcha.
Well, people are asking me what's the next resistance. That's a good question. I'm not sure there is. That's the good part for the bulls. We're at the next resistance, but this moving average hasn't done much. There's really no resistance. This is the good news.
Bishop takes knight.
Bishop takes knight.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, pawn takes bishop. So if I go back to screen share for a second, once I figure out how to do that again, I don't really see much resistance on a long-term scale, right? Because if we break this moving average, we get to this prior swing high. That's not resistance. That's meant to be broken. And if we break that, then we make it all the way to the next swing high, and that's meant to be broken. So there really is no resistance. There's not. We just have to get there. So I don't see any resistance. This is resistance. The top of this triangle and this moving average, we're at resistance right now. If Bitcoin breaks this and closes above it in the next 24 hours, I think that's a very, very bullish sign. But if it breaks the bottom of the triangle, that's a very bearish sign. I don't see any resistance. But just because you don't see any resistance doesn't mean Bitcoin is in a bullish trend. You can see the moving average has already turned, and we're in a bearish posture. What'd you do?
I
Moved somewhere. Moved the knight.
Yeah, I developed the knight. One of the things that I wanted to say is that at the panel at PorcFest, you had a question about Dash, because back in the first PorcFest that you went to, which was 2018.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, last year's PorcFest. Dash was a sponsor of PorcFest, and they weren't this year. So this year's PorcFest, Dash was not a sponsor, because I mean, I don't know why, I don't want to speculate, but they weren't, for whatever reason, they weren't a sponsor. And so when you said at the panel that, hey, is Dash a sponsor here? I wish you knew at that point that they weren't, so that you could just say, hey, Dash isn't sponsoring, instead of just asking if Dash was a sponsor, because then they were like, oh, well, there's a guy in a Dash t-shirt right there. Yeah. Sorry, did you move?
Yeah, I'll move right here.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
Was Danny there? Danny Sessions?
Danny Sessions wasn't there, but Joel was there.
Right.
Joel
so
was
Danny usually gets paid by the Dash people to be at places like that.
I believe
wasn't there.
Joel gets too. Joel gets paid as well.
So they couldn't afford both of them. They had to pick one.
What's that?
They couldn't afford both of them.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, Danny's he was giving out free Dash at an Acapulco. Danny was.
See, that's the other thing that Seyfedin said that was great.
Yeah, it's like easy money.
Yeah, it's easy money.
Yeah.
So if they print it for themselves, they want to give it out. No one's giving out Bitcoin.
Hell no. I mean, people gave out Bitcoin back in the day when it wasn't worth anything. People did give it out to try to spread it.
I mean, I still give like $5 every now and then, but that's
yeah, you gave a free $5 to Roger Ver. I remember that.
Yeah, that's true. He owes me $5. He technically owes $10,000 to Blockstream, which he doesn't want to pay. All right. Yeah, I'm watching this little pump right here. Let's go back to the 15-minute chart. Look at that candle. Let's see how this candle closes on a 15-minute chart. See, this is the kind of candle I wouldn't trade. If I was trading 15-minute charts. I wonder what it looks like on a different 10-minute maybe. See, on a 10-minute, I would trade it, right? Because that was a 9. That's the candle I wouldn't trade. This one. And then I would buy the green 2 above a green 1 above the 9. So on a 10-minute chart, I would be in this trade at 10,110. 10,120. I would be in long. But on a 15-minute chart, I would have missed this move. I wouldn't have traded it.
I moved the knight up there.
Move the knight there. Interesting. Oh, that's a good move. That's a good move.
Well, you've been distracted looking at the price. That's why I was able to sneak up on you. Well, it's still pretty much an even game at this point. I don't think either of us has a huge advantage.
All right, I gotta do something here. Change this game up. I don't like the fact that you have 2 knights.
You got the 2 bishops.
Yeah, but they're kind of useless at the moment. Not doing anything. And that's in a bad position. All right, let's clean this up a little. Probably gonna, I'm gonna lose that guy, and then I'm gonna get checked. Damn, that's a bad move. How serious are we taking this game?
It's okay. You can resign if you don't want to embarrassingly lose.
I'm not gonna embarrassingly lose. I might lose, but it's not gonna be embarrassingly.
Okay, for anybody who's watching this game that actually knows chess, we apologize because we suck. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
true.
saying, we really suck.
Right, the fire is going, but the way I have it, it's like we don't want to get in the light from it. But it's all right. It'll wrap around.
I don't know, you want me to put some
No,
logs on it?
It's all right. Still watching the candle. Damn, I really have no good move. I'm not that good at chess, guys. Maybe if I concentrated better from the start.
I mean, you've played pretty good. You haven't made any obvious blunders. I mean,
Yeah, it's coming. I already see where this is headed. Shit. No, that's fine.
all right.
I don't think anything that bad can happen.
Ian Keto's the bishop.
Famous last words. All right, dead air. Let me look at the comments.
That is interesting.
Anything interesting? Any other questions, guys? It's your open Q&A.
What should I do? All right. Move the queen up.
All right, I have to give up that pawn anyway.
So, you said the first Bitcoin event you went to was in 2014 in New York
Castle.
City. Was that right?
Yeah, the 2014 in April.
Okay. Gotcha. But you weren't a speaker there, or were you a speaker there?
Oh no, that was the first event I ever attended.
Okay.
But I did speak at the event the following month in Hong Kong, right? So I attended the one in April of 2014, and then I really enjoyed it. And the company that I worked for, the financial company, had an office in Hong Kong, and I used to work with those guys all the time, like early in the morning and like at night when they're awake. And my company was more than happy for me to pay my own way to go to Hong Kong and work out of the Hong Kong office for a week. So a month later, I did that because the Bitcoin conference was going to be there. And I emailed the conference.
So you still worked on your job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I worked my job for like 2 more years. That was one of the big mistakes that I made. I quit my job in like early 2015, and the Bitcoin was so cheap in early 2015.
Mm-hmm. Right. You could have just kept on working and just stacked.
I could have exactly.
Sets. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, we've all made mistakes.
Right.
In Bitcoin.
And then I realized that holy shit, I quit my job. I have no income coming in, and I can't buy Bitcoin at $300.
Right. Right.
So that really hurt.
Yeah. I remember when it crashed to 300. It was like in either January or February of 2015, I think it was. Yeah.
So I had no ability to buy any more Bitcoin through the entire bear market of 2015. So that was a big mistake. If I only worked at my job for one more year, I would have been converting all those paychecks into Bitcoin at the low. But I had no income coming in at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How did you come on Jeff Berwick's radar? Because you were on his show, right? Before you spoke at an Acapulco.
Well, I was on a show because I was going to speak at an Acapulco. I don't remember.
Gotcha.
I don't remember how that somebody connected us. It might have been Ernie Hancock.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah.
It was probably Ernie Hancock because he was going to those conferences.
No, Ernie's a good guy.
Yeah, Ernie's great.
I mean, he's a great guy. He's a shitcoiner, but he's a great guy, man.
He's a shitcoiner because because he's listening to stupid people about it.
But at some point, you can't blame that he's listening to it. He has to take responsibility for his own opinions. I mean, you can't just say, "Oh, he's just listening to the wrong person." I think that's the way he wants to play it. I don't know.
Hey guys, I really don't want to look at shorts versus longs right now. I'll try and do it in another stream.
Yeah, Ernie Hancock. Well, you were there. I mean, you talked to Ernie at the Pork Fest.
I talk to Ernie all the time. I'm at his house every year for a week trying to convince him that shitcoins are shitcoins, and he's not listening. Someone is asking me, Toan, what are the chances new all-time high before the halving? Before the halving, new all-time high, maybe 30%.
So you think it's low before the halving?
Yeah.
You think it'll be after the halving, most likely?
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard both, and I think that does make sense. But hopefully it's wrong. Hopefully we do a moonshot.
All right. I need to get some of my pieces out.
Queen wants to get in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the most boring stream ever. Do I know Bitcoin Rush? I do, but I never met him in person.
I've met Bitcoin Rush.
I never met him in person.
I met him in person.
Does he still do videos?
I don't know if he still does videos, but I met him in person at it was like at a job fair, at a Bitcoin job fair in Silicon Valley. So I was there and he was there, and I told him that I used to, I was like, oh, you're Bitcoin Rush. I watch your shows and stuff, and so he invited me on his show. So there is a video. There's an old Bitcoin Rush video from like 2014 or 2015. I think it was in 2015 actually, with me on it. So you can go back and find that old Bitcoin Rush show that I'm on there as like a guest. Interestingly enough, I was talking about Bitcoin trading, although nowhere near as good as Toan talks about Bitcoin trading.
Hey, I got another question. Toan, have you officially called the bottom in? No, I have not. I have not officially announced that I believe the bottom is in. I still think there is a non-trivial percent that we can go below 3K. So I have not officially called the bottom is in. And I don't mind being late on calling that. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, and a lot of people disagree with that.
I also haven't officially called that the gold bottom is in either. I still think there's a non-trivial probability that gold can go below 1,000.
So
by non-trivial, it doesn't mean that it's greater than 50%.
A lot of traders
non-trivial
are like, well, I'd rather be early. But you say, I don't mind being late. I'll buy the breakout. But most other traders don't agree with you, it seems like.
Those traders don't last very long.
Well, that's true. Most traders get wrecked.
All right. My pawns are being eaten away here. There's not much I can do about this.
I think there's some pressure on your king.
A little. I'll deal with that when the time comes. And that time is now. Shit. What the hell am I gonna do about this? Can I even get out? Can I even weasel out of this?
I mean, I'm threatening checkmate with the next move.
Yeah,
Whether
I can see that.
whether there's a way out of it or not, I don't know. I'm kind of a little, you know, but I am threatening mate with the next move. So
is this it? Is there anything I can do to stop this nonsense?
well, let me think. Let me see.
Yeah, no, there is.
There is. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So you move the knight in to try to defend against mate. What should I do?
Tone, does the shape of the candle matter less in Bitcoin versus stocks because the market is 24/7 and trades on many different mediums? I think it's different, but I don't think it's. I still think the shape of the candle matters. I do believe that. I believe that the shape of the candle always matters.
So there was a recent comment you made on a stream where I think you said you cannot raise the block size. It's like trying to go faster than the speed of light. And
I don't remember saying that, but okay.
And a lot of the B cashers jumped on that, and they're like, "What are you talking about? We raised the block size 3 or 4
times." Exactly.
Now the funny thing is, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but somebody played that clip of you saying that to Roger Ver. So they were like, "Oh, here, you know, Tone said this. What do you think about that?" But the funny thing is, they didn't play the whole clip. They only played just that one part of it. They didn't, because the rest, the second part of what you said was even better than the first part, because you said, because a lot of the altcoiners, they say, well, if you had agreed with the fork, then we would have been able to fork because you were fighting against it. But then you said, if I had agreed with the fork, then I would have been a laughing stock too.
Right.
Right. So I think that, like, the fact that they played that clip for Roger Ver, but they didn't play that second part, that was very, very interesting how they edited it. Like, they stopped it exactly
they always
right
do that, man. Yeah. They always do that. Oh yeah, so we were talking about, so the Bitcoin handle has become Bitcoin maximalist, and ironically unfollowed me.
That's interesting, but I think it was just unfollowing a bunch of people, right? But it followed you before. It followed you before, probably because, you know, maybe you knew somebody, some beat casher who was probably following you or something, you know.
Well, right. So the Bitcoin handle was following me before. It's unfollowed me now, but it's following like Jameson Lopp now,
right?
Who's Bitcoin maximalist, and at the moment is questionable.
Unfollowed like Justin Sun and.
Well, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, so that was because
I don't care.
That
like,
kind
of
relates.
Me or not.
So
that's
point.
Funny.
So I think it's kind of fun that the Bitcoin handle on Twitter is like making fun of you know, altcoiners and shitcoiners, and I think that's kind of all fun games. But the way I see it is like, it doesn't matter, because it didn't matter that it was under, you know, it was promoting Bcash, and now it doesn't matter that it's promoting.
But here's my curiosity, right? Did the Bitcoin handle, did the person who owned it, did he change his mind, or did he sell the handle?
Right. Did he sell the handle, or did somebody like Jack Dorsey just transfer it to like a Bitcoin, you know, person or something like that? Who knows?
Oh, I think we'd hear this if that happened.
What?
I think
you'd be hearing.
I think somebody would be screaming bloody murder if that happened.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that was a good move.
And whoever is
actually.
whoever is the Bitcoin handle now,
Uh-huh.
I don't even remember what move I made. Oh, no, I do.
They made move the bishop.
And whoever has it now is not exactly. It doesn't seem like someone that's. It just seems like another troll. But at least it's a troll on our.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a Kevin Pham.
So here's the thing.
Before he went all nuts with
don't
Bcash.
get too upset when the Bitcoin handle starts promoting Bcash, and don't get too happy when it starts promoting Bitcoin. So just
because for all we
it shouldn't
know,
matter.
by end of year it could be promoting Craig Wright.
Yeah, exactly. Or it could go back to being Bcash, or it could start talking about an ERC20 token or something. Who knows? It's like
it might even invest in an ERC20 token.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. For all we know, it already is investing in an ERC20.
Oh,
token.
damn! Did college football start this weekend?
I think Lee Corso was trending on Twitter.
Oh, no way!
Yeah.
Shit, I totally missed opening night of college football.
Well,
season.
you were working, so it's all good.
I was working.
Yeah,
I know.
You were working.
Please tell me Seminoles won their first game this year, because
you only care about the first game. So if they lose, you don't have to pay attention to the rest of the year.
If Florida State lost the first game, I don't have to watch any more college football the rest of the year.
By the way, the move I made was bishop takes pawn. So.
Well, yeah, because I left them unprotected, so obviously that was going to happen.
Yeah, again, it's because you're focused on the, doing TA and answering my questions.
And right at the moment, I'm going to look at college football.
Yeah, go for it. Well, maybe Florida State didn't even play this weekend.
No, they play opening. They always play opening weekend. Oh, whoa! No! I don't think they played yet. Nope, they didn't start yet.
Because college football has like a pre-opening weekend where there's only 2 teams playing.
Florida beat Miami. Wow, that was a close game. And that's it. That was only one game. So the game's 29th, Thursday. So it's opening soon. Florida State's not ranked for the first time in God knows when. So now I have to look at every team instead of just the top 25, which is annoying as hell. Which I actually don't even know how to do on this app anymore. Here it is, top 25.
I remember when Florida State was a huge power and they were like, national championship.
3 years ago, 4 years ago. Jesus Christ, you lose Jimbo Fisher and it all goes down the toilet.
But yeah, interestingly enough, you're not much of an NFL fan.
I'm not. I mean, I pay attention to it, but I'm not much of an NFL
because
fan.
we tried to get you on our fantasy football league and you.
Oh God, no! I don't do fantasy football. It's just such a time drain. Or fantasy anything, actually. I've done them back in the day. I used to do fantasy basketball with my friends. That was the only one. I never did fantasy football.
Well, do you have a favorite basketball team?
I don't, because I don't like teams necessarily. I like players.
Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of people are like that. Of course, I'm a diehard Lakers fan, but
So I'm impartial to players, but I'll say like 2 of my favorite players. So I was a big Orlando Magic fan for a long time because
you lived in Florida.
No, well, even before that, because I was a big Penny Hardaway fan back in the 90s. And after that, I was a big Tracy McGrady fan.
Yeah, T-Mac. Yeah.
And
Grant Hill was there too.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately, he was hurt too much.
Yeah.
So Florida State plays what time? They play on the 31st. Wow, that's like a year away. They play on the 31st at 7 p.m. I have to catch that game. But they're playing Boise State, but they're also not ranked, so that's not a big deal. But yeah, so because of Penny Hardaway and then Tracy McGrady, I spent most of my kid life being an Orlando Magic fan.
That makes sense. But not when Shaq was there, right? You weren't really a fan.
I wasn't really a big fan of Shaq.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't either until he came to the Lakers, to be honest.
Right. Well, I always hated the Lakers because I never liked any of the Laker players.
Oh, come on. Everybody likes Magic. Well, not anymore.
It was before my time.
Not.
No, it wasn't really before my time, but it was before my time in this country.
Not after he was the GM and kind of screwed that up.
So I was never a Laker fan. I was never a Clipper fan. I am a big fan of Curry. I was a big fan of Curry in college because I do watch college basketball. So I actually had, I didn't have him in the Final Four, but I had him in the Elite Eight, and everyone had him out in like the first round or something. So I did good in that NCAA tournament. So I was a big Steph Curry fan, even in college, back when he was playing at Davidson. So when he went to Golden State, I was a big Golden State fan because Curry went there, even before they started winning those championships. All right, where am I going? So I'm more of I follow players, but then I hated Golden State when Durant went there. Like I thought that was messed up. Like I didn't want to see the
Oh,
random
I didn't care
man
about that. I didn't understand why people were upset about that. I mean, he's a player. He can go play wherever he wants.
No, of course he can,
Yeah.
but all right, that queen is really getting annoying.
The queen is menacing your king. That's what it's doing.
I see that.
I like to use the word menacing when it comes to. Yes, my queen is menacing your
I have
king.
to solve this problem somehow. Still not sure how yet. Because eventually this is going to end very badly. You're just going to go there and take my freaking knight. That's not going to work. Oh, jeez. All right. All right, we're going to be solving this problem now. But then that's not protected. No, it's still protected. Kinda. Jesus. Do I have any good moves? I do. No, I don't. Here. Go.
All right.
All right, let's see what we got here. We should probably cut the stream. I mean, it was like dead
Check.
air. I have nothing else to talk about. I'm
Check.
tired.
Hold on. Let's finish the
They
game.
just checked me.
Check.
And what exactly is stopping me from just taking him?
Oh, my knight.
You want to redo that?
No.
You had me, man.
No, I still have you. Checkmate.
No.
I think that's checkmate, unless I missed something.
No, you got me.
That's why I was like, oh, my knight. Like I was like, I don't think there was any other move you could have made, though.
There isn't.
Yeah, because you were in check. You
I
had
couldn't
to
move anywhere.
Yeah, you had to take the knight. So
I had
it
to
was
take a
like,
knight. I had no
yeah.
chase.
All right, well, good game, buddy.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Honestly, you weren't playing your best, and honestly, I wasn't playing my best. We got to redo it next time.
We'll probably play one more after I cut the stream.
Yeah, well, you'll be black next one, and maybe we'll record it and we'll upload it later or something.
No. No one used to watch me lose twice. All right, guys, we're gonna cut the stream.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks, guys. It's hard to do like 3 things at once. All right, I'm gonna take one more look at the price.
See if there's any other good questions.
No, there aren't. How do my eyes survive without dark mode? They survive just fine. I don't like dark mode, guys. It's hard to see like in the daylight and stuff. I don't like it like in the sun. I gotta do a lot of stuff outdoors. I'm not a fan of dark mode.
I want to see if anybody said anything about the game.
Yeah, let's see if we can close above this triangle. If we can close above the triangle and move an average, that's a very good sign.
Yeah, let's take a look at the chart.
All right, guys. Hey, don't forget, now that the options workshop is over, the only things I have to shill, because I have no more workshops scheduled. So the only things we have to shill is the Bali event. Please check it out. I know it's a little pricey, but you get an amazing top-notch suite on the beach, and there'll be more pictures coming up very, very soon right here. And now that the options class is over, I can focus on this and other stuff. You get a lot of freebies when you register. Your room comes with a daily massage and a bunch of other amenities. And it's a way to connect traders to funds. So check out what this conference is all about. And registration for Unconfiscatable.
When is it open? Because everyone wants to know. When is the registration open?
It should be soon. Probably around the end of the month. If not, very early next month, registration will open.
Perfect.
So
definitely got that one circled on my calendar.
but it will be open first to those that attended last year. And then a week later.
So I get to pre-register?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then a week later, it'll open for everyone else.
Nice.
So those that came and supported me last year will have early dibs on the early bird price special, because I like to support those that support me. So
definitely show up if you want to come hang out with a bunch of Bitcoin maximalists and have fun and play poker and eat steak. It's so much fun.
Oh yeah, very slowly other conferences will lose that title, right? Like I need to ask about the Honey Badger conference at this point.
Yep.
We got to look at the ratio of like Bitcoiners to shitcoiners.
Do you think Honey Badger is in danger of becoming a shitcoin conference?
I mean, it depends on how many Bitcoin guys are going to start ERC20 tokens.
Good point.
Do you invite Richard Hart to your conference now that he is a prominent thought leader in the space? Really?
That was a troll question.
Really? How long have you been here?
That was so funny.
Richard Hart is welcome to buy a ticket like everybody else.
That's funny.
I don't know how to play Go. You know how to play Go? I don't know how to play
I
Go.
don't know how to play Go, but people say it's like more complicated than chess. But you ask any chess player and they'll disagree with that. So I don't know. Maybe it's more complicated than chess. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
All right, guys.
Very popular in like China, I guess.
We're going to call it a day. And if you want to support this channel, please check out the affiliate page. Please check your local jurisdiction, whether you are allowed to use any of these products. But I know that eToro and LVL Exchange are open to US citizens. I also have a bunch of Amazon links for the tech that I use. I promised to update all my tech this summer, but I ended up being way busier than I thought I would be this summer. And therefore, I'm still dealing with the same old tech. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
The screen share.
Follow me on Twitter at Bitcoin Motorist.
Follow Bitcoin Motorist on Twitter. And thanks for coming to hang out.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
I will see you all on the next stream, guys.